we're here to protect you and the ones that you love. It's a good feeling to know that our efforts aren't going unnoticed.
It actually brought tears to my eyes to know that we have this support.
You're welcome. I must just say you're welcome. It's stressful, but we're not going anywhere.
Welcome to another edition of Bucknell Women's Soccer Through the Decades. Today we celebrate the decade of 2010 to 2020, so our most recent Bucknell women's soccer players, and it's an opportunity for us to see what they're doing now, hear a little bit about what they did while they were at Bucknell, and an opportunity for Coach Cook to get to catch up with our alums, as well as one of our current players, Mensi, will be on the call tonight, and she will ask some questions to our alums. My name's Todd Newcomb. I want to thank Geisinger for sponsoring today's session. The Geisinger has done a great job supporting the community here through the whole pandemic, and we really thank them for all that they do for Bucknell and the local community. Our guest tonight, I'll start with our alums and then I'll work to our current player. And bear with me because they all have a lot of accolades, and this could take a while to just talk about all their accomplishments, but that's why we're really fortunate to have them on the call today. So here's our first guest, Cora Climo, class of 2017. Cora was the team captain in 2016. She was a Patriot League All-Tournament team member that year as well when she scored the golden goal against Boston University to give the Bison a 2-1 win in the Patriot League championship game. She was a Patriot League Tournament MVP, and she won the John F. Zeller Award at the Senior Awards Banquet. Our second guest tonight, Jess Ratner from the class of 2017. She holds the Bucknell career records for goalie wins at 31, shutouts at 22, and goals against average at 0.90. She also holds the longest scoreless streak by one goalie at 655 minutes and 3 seconds. She was All-Patriot League second team in 2015, All-Patriot League first team in 2016. She was a Patriot League goalie of the year in 2016, and she was on the All-Tournament team both in 2015 and 2016. Our next guest, Kendall Ham, class of 2018. Kendall currently ranks third all-time on the points list at Bucknell with 94 and second with 41 career goals. She was All-Patriot League first team in 2015, 2016, and 2017. She was All-Tournament in 2017, and she was a Patriot League Offensive Player of the Year in 2016. She was a Patriot League Tournament MVP in 2017. She didn't do much to earn that. She only scored 3 goals in the championship game in Bucknell's 3-2 win over Navy to earn the Patriot League title. She was also United Soccer Coaches All-Region third team selection in 2015 and 2017. She was a United Soccer Coaches All-Region first team selection in 2016, and she was a United Soccer Coaches All-American third team in 2016, a tremendous honor right there. And that's just the athletic part of it. Off the field, Kendall was a Patriot League All-Academic team member in 2016 and 2017. She was a Patriot League Scholar Athlete for Women's Soccer in 2016 and 2017. She was a co-side Academic All-District First Team Selection in 2016 and 2017. She was a co-side Academic All-American First Team member in 2016 and an Academic All-America Third Team member in 2017. She was a United Soccer Coaches Scholar All-East Region First Team in 2016 and 2017. And a United Soccer Coaches Scholar All-American First Team in 2016. She won the Alvin F. Jackson Jr. Memorial Scholar Athlete Award at the Senior Awards Banquet. And our final guest tonight is Megan Holtz from the class of 2018. Megan was a team captain in 2016 and 2017. She was All-Patriot League third team in 2015 and All-Patriot League second team in 2016 and 2017. She was on the All-Tournament team in 2017, and she was a United Soccer Coaches Scholar All-East Region second team selection in 2017 and won the Bison Club Award at the Senior Awards Banquet following the end of her career. So, Claire, you've got a lot to live up to with all the accolades and all the awards that these alums have put together. So, Claire is our current student athlete on the team. She is a junior defender from, I hope I'm saying this right, Claire, Katona, New York?
Katona, close.
Yeah, I was close. And she is a junior, going to be a junior on this year's team, and we're really hoping that she and the rest of the team get to see the field and play their season. And Claire, I know more than anybody, you want to get back out there. The injury bug has been not kind to you. We're really hoping you have a great year. So, Coach, that's a great group. I'm going to turn it over to you, and away we go.
Yeah, first I just want to take a minute and thank you guys for joining us on this call. I'm super excited for tonight's call. I'm excited to relive some of the great memories. Had the opportunity to coach you guys for the majority of your careers and loved every minute of it. So looking forward to hearing from you guys tonight. And again, thank you for taking the time out of your evening to join us for this Zoom. So I'll kick things off here with our first question, and we'll stick with the order you guys were introduced. So Cora, you'll take it first. Tell us about the beginning, how you got to Bucknell, your recruitment to Bucknell, and why you made the decision to play soccer for Bucknell.
Yeah, thanks for the introductions. I would say for me, I kind of always knew I wanted to play college soccer. So it was just a matter of figuring out where was the best fit. I played both high school and club soccer. So my club team went to a lot of showcases, a lot of different tournaments. And, you know, I think a very typical process for most high school players, just reached out to a lot of coaches to get them to come watch you play. But I think for me, where I was recruited best for my style of play was really at those like summer camps that the schools would host. So I went to a camp at Bucknell, and I went to quite a number of other colleges as well. Academics was definitely important to me. I knew I wanted a Division I school for soccer, but I also wanted academics to be a priority. So that definitely narrowed my search a bit. A little bit funny, Bucknell, Kelly was not the coach at Bucknell when I was being recruited, but the Bucknell coach actually came to one of my games. I forget like what showcase it was. And I remember getting an email back saying that, you know, we came and watched you. Unfortunately, like, we're not interested. We don't think this would be a good fit. And I remember coming downstairs to my kitchen, just like bawling, because Bucknell was one of my top choices. And I was like, oh, like, I know I can play here. Like, so I decided to go to the summer camp, and when I went to camp there, the coaches were able to see me in a new light, I guess, and then we're like, oh, wait a second, you know, we do want you to come here, and from there, kind of went through the offer process, and I think I ended up, we had to wait till like our test scores got submitted and our final grades, but I think I was like officially committed sometime in my junior year. And it's the best decision I've ever made.
Awesome, thanks. J-Rap.
Yeah, I think similar to Cora, played both high school and club soccer, so was getting a good mix of both of those. For my club team, we went to a lot of tournaments all across the country. So actually a tournament out in California, Surf Cup, was where I was seen by the Bucknell goalkeeper coach at the time. Originally, I, wasn't really looking at Bucknell. I was actually looking at a lot of schools down south. The warmer weather was where I wanted to be, and that was a big selling point for me. But academics were huge too, so I was trying to find that balance. And then I heard from the goalie coach, and I had a chance to speak with her. And once I had that chance to speak with her, I knew there was something more worth learning about the school and the program. And then when I got to campus and met the team and learned more about the program as a whole, I realized that going down south wasn't as big of a factor anymore, and the program and the academics were a huge selling point. So at that point, I was laser focused on getting to Bucknell. Very thankful for a smooth process when it came to the recruitment process and chatting with the coach. And then getting my offer. I was actually able to get an offer on my dad's birthday, which was very special for me. So that was a big sign in saying that, this is where I'm meant to be. So it was pretty straightforward from beginning to end. And once that happened, I was like, this is it. This is where I need to be.
Awesome. Thanks, Jira. Kendall.
Yeah, mine's like a little bit different, because actually how I found Bucknell was through the assistant coach went to my high school. So her dad used to come to our high school games and watched me and my twin, Jackie, play in high school, and kind of told the coach about us. And she watched us at one of the showcase tournaments, and that's kind of how we got in touch with Bucknell in the first place. But for me, looking at schools, one of the big things I was looking at was to stay with my sister, which is shocking, I know, for everyone that was on our team. But we wanted to stay together. We wanted to go to good academic school, and we didn't want to go too close to home. I'm from New Hampshire, so we kind of looked a little more down south. And we came to an ID clinic, and actually, funny story, we went to the ID clinic on a Sunday, and Jackie and I wouldn't get out of the car to like check out the campus. And my dad was so mad at us because we drove 8 hours because we just didn't want to get out of the car. But that's not that surprising if you know us. And then we got our offer and kind of fell in love with the school. And that's kind of how we ended up here.
I'm glad you maybe didn't get out of the car. If you had gotten out, maybe you wouldn't have come. So maybe
we wouldn't have liked it. Maybe we wouldn't have thought it was pretty.
Yeah, it's a good thing. All right, thanks.
I don't know why.
So I kind of had a similar experience of what Cora and J-Rat and Kendall said. I played high school soccer and club soccer, and I had an amazing club experience. I played at PDA, which J-Rat also played in. I think we've funneled some other current players through the program now since then. But I was on a team that was highly recruited, and some of the players now are playing in the NWSL Cup out west right now. So they really made an impact on my career. But I definitely didn't want a huge school. I wanted academics and a bit of a balance between athletics and academics. And I also had the experience of my older sister playing on the team. She graduated in 2011. So I had a little bit of preview of what Bucknell was like in the program, and it kind of checked all the boxes for me. So that's why I chose this program.
Awesome, thank you. As a player, talk about how you developed and matured on the field from day one at freshman year preseason all the way up into your senior year. Just how you've changed, how you kind of developed in your 4 years, and looking back on that time.
Yeah, so for me, it's kind of easy to pinpoint. I came in my freshman year and ended up starting on the back line. And I started the first 5 games of the season as a freshman. It was great. And then I had a season-ending injury. And I had never had a serious injury before in my entire soccer career. I broke my ankle. So it kind of just put a lot of different things into perspective. I just being a part of a collegiate team for the first time, having that experience in preseason, and then the first couple weeks of season, and then just getting knocked out and having to balance, going to college for the first time and also being on a Division I team still, but also manage going to physical therapy and just kind of prioritizing things and still finding my place on the team while being injured. And it was definitely tough to navigate at times, but I think it just kind of for the rest of my career going forward, I always kind of had a different perspective that I'd never really had before, and struggled with some like on and off injuries since then, stemming from that initial injury. But I think it definitely gave me just a new lens that I hadn't had before, and a bigger appreciation for the game and for the sport and for my teammates, and kind of just the role that whether you're a starter, a bench player, someone who sits on the bench the whole game, whether you're injured, like everyone is really instrumental in the success of a team, and how important it is to recognize all those different people. And I think it kind of helped me grow as a leader and as a player on the team throughout my 4 years, and definitely something lessons that I've learned from that I take into the real world too. So it's easy for me to pinpoint that moment, but that's what I would say.
Awesome. J-Rat.
Yeah, I think for me, coming in as a freshman, there's that, sense of fear and anxiety that you have coming into camp. And I know that I had that strong sense of anxiety. It was a new environment, and I really struggled being in there and had to adapt. And after that freshman year camp, I knew I didn't want to feel that way every time. I knew I had that confidence in myself and my abilities, and I just needed to get through, being in that new environment. And getting myself to a point where I could project that confidence onto the field and, let my talents and, the abilities that I had shine through. So once I was able to kind of overcome that mental and emotional struggle those first few days of freshman year camp, I saw that confidence come through, and I feel like that was something that carried through for the rest of my 4 years. It's just that, the feeling of coming in, knowing what you can do, but getting to that new level of being in a Division I collegiate program and having to prove yourself to your players and your coaches and everybody that, is watching you. It's just a totally new environment. So I think getting through that first stage and knowing that, I can do this. It's the same process every year of camp. And once you prove yourself, you're earning your spot. So that got me to a point where my confidence and my leadership and mentality on the field grew each and every year. So I think that freshman year camp was really important for me and my growth as a player in so many different aspects.
Great, thanks. Kendall.
For me coming in, I didn't really know what to expect. In high school, I played soccer, basketball, and I did track. So I was doing a lot of different sports. So going in was the first time I could really focus on soccer. And I think what had carried me throughout like soccer in college or in high school and my club experience was my speed. So I think like going in, I really had to work on my technical skills. And I think that's really what helped me develop as a player throughout my 4 years. As everyone knows, I wasn't a very good juggler, and I'm still not a very good juggler, but I think I'm really developing my technical skills really helped me succeed later on in my time at Bucknell. And I think that was just because I hadn't really spent too much time focused just on soccer throughout my high school experience. But I also think the other skills that I had learned through basketball and track really helped find they were beneficial to how I developed as a player overall, I would say. So that was probably my technical skills was what I really had to develop.
Great.
And I'll go. I would say kind of Devin Schulte had torn her ACL my freshman year because I was originally recruited as an outside back, and I quickly found myself in the midfield after that, and I kind of stayed there the rest of my career. But I think in terms of developing over the 4 years, you gotta find your strengths and how that helps not only yourself but your teammates on the field. I'm clearly not the biggest player. I'm probably one of the shortest girls on the team besides Allie at the time. So kind of just finding your strengths. I was better technically than I was up in the air winning head balls. So just understanding what you can do to contribute to the team for the success to win and whatnot.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. For this next question, I'm going to turn it over to Claire, who's going to take it for this one.
All right, perfect. So my question is, what advice would you give me or any of the other players that are in our program today about the college soccer experience at Bucknell?
I would say, and you probably hear this from a lot of people, but just don't take any moment for granted. There's a lot of ups and downs that you'll go through, ebbs and flows throughout the season and the off season, but getting the opportunity to play collegiate soccer is something I'm really grateful for, but it goes by in the blink of an eye. And obviously the friendships and the mentors and the people at Bucknell will stay in your life forever, but those feelings you get when you step on the field or win a game or lose a game, there'll be some people that'll be lucky enough to continue on their career post-grad, but I would say probably for the most part, that's the end of your elite soccer career. And just kind of take in every moment that you can and just really embrace it. And sometimes you'll just have to pinch yourself because you forget how lucky you are.
Yeah, I think piggybacking off of everything that Cora said there, the experience is a second to none type of experience. You have an incredible coaching staff and teammates who are going to become some of your best friends for life. And you're part of a program that, brings so much pride to the university and everybody that supports you. So, be constantly proud of the name on the front of your jersey and know that all of the hard work that you put in, no matter how hard it is, because some days are harder than others, serves a greater purpose. So, you're constantly working to that greater purpose. And through those good days and your bad days, you're going to have people around you that are there to support you, coaches and teammates and friends who aren't even on the team, but are there to support you. So just utilize your resources and know that, you are playing for a team that is bringing pride to the university, and be proud of that.
I don't really have much more to add. I feel like you guys have both said everything, but just enjoy your time there. I know that was the best 4 years of my life, and I don't wish I enjoyed it more, but I wish it slowed down because it goes by in the blink of an eye. Everyone says that, like, after freshman year, like, okay, I guess it's going by fast. Then all of a sudden I was a senior and I was graduating. So definitely enjoy the time there, both on the field and off the field. Enjoy your time with your teammates. They become like your best friends for life. All 3 of us are all going to a wedding of our teammate this year. Actually, she just changed her wedding. So next year we're going to the wedding. We're all going to the bachelorette party this year. So they do become your best friends for life. So definitely just enjoy the time you have with them when they're living right next door. Because right now it's sad we all live in different cities. We don't get to hang out as much.
Yeah, I would just reiterate everything that was said, and also just the team's like your family. And I think we became successful when we became very close with each other after my freshman year, when we kind of went through like a transition period. So really value those relationships that you have with your teammates and your coaching staff. And just like one quirky thing is like, you're never too tired, whether it be like you're never too tired to do like another sprint or like do something with your friends. Just always remember there's more time like in your future and you will never get this back. So enjoy it.
Thank you.
So I'm really excited about this question. You're gonna have to pick just one, okay? But and some of you guys have multiple things to pick from. But what was your most memorable experience as part of the Bucknell women's soccer program? Cora, I think I know yours, but go ahead.
Okay, I think everyone knows mine. I probably say this every time I see anyone, but winning the Patriot League championship my senior year was just like, to this day, the absolute best day of my life. It will be hard to top it. It was just like we won the regular season, so we were able to host the championship at home at Bucknell on like the most picturesque Sunday afternoon in the fall. Like, you couldn't have asked for anything better. All of our families were there, and being at Bucknell at our home university, like all of our friends from school were able to be there, where any other circumstance that's not really the case. And it was the first championship that I had won in my career, and I just, to be able to win with that coaching staff, with that team, in that setting was like the absolute best. I still don't have words to describe it, but that is my favorite moment.
Cora, you have that like beautiful picture of you holding the trophy when you're like glowing.
Yeah, that was just the best day with everyone there and everyone that like has supported you through the ups and the downs at the school, on the team, your family. I could go on and on.
We joke around with Cora that this will be better than like her wedding day.
Or like
yeah,
or
I'll talk about it forever. Tough to top.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Cora. I did have 2 things. My first one was going to be losing the Patriot League championship game our junior year, only because that was a pain that I had never felt, and a loss, a feeling of loss that I never wanted to experience again. But that leads into the feeling of winning the Patriot League championship game, because I remember being so zoned in when that game started, even before the game started in warmups, knowing the pain that we had felt the year before, being so close and getting right to the end and just seeing it slip through our fingers, and not wanting to feel that feeling ever again. So knowing before this, senior year championship game started, that we weren't walking away without that trophy. And then seeing the ball go into the back end of the net when Cora scored in overtime, I just remember a wave of excitement. I was sobbing, not unexpected for anybody that knows me, but it was one of the best feelings. I just remember collapsing, just pure happiness, and seeing that same happiness on everybody's face, from the teammates to the coaches, the fans. It's indescribable. Like Cora said, it's one of the greatest feelings of your life, and it's just something that never leaves you.
Well, I feel like I can't say that experience because that's what everyone said so far. I guess for me, it's hard to pick between each Patriot League championship. Sorry, I know Jarrett and Cora, you guys only won the one, but me and Megan, we did one too. No, I'm kidding. But it's hard to pick between the 2 for me, just because I think they're special for 2 different reasons. For the first one, it was obviously our first one winning. We were like the first seed. we hosted. It was an overtime. Everyone was there. It was really special, as you guys have pointed out. But for the other one, I think the Navy one was also pretty special because we weren't supposed to win that game. I think that's what made that one pretty cool, is because we were going in as a second seed. We had lost to Navy the weekend before. We only lost 2-1, but it felt like we should have lost by a lot more. So I think going to the Navy game, it was a hard game going into it. We also had lost our second goalkeeper got injured the day before, or the semifinals. So I think that one also was just as exciting to win as the first one.
I guess Kendall's got the jokes today, but I kind of agree with Kendall. It's hard to decide between the two, although the excitement's a little bit more better when you're at home on your home field with your friends watching and whatnot. So that's hard for me to decide. But honestly, one of my favorite moments, and I think we can all laugh at this, is Sarah Brissett decided to leave a bunch of wrappers on the bus after a trip. And Kelly found them before we cleaned them up. And to this day, we laugh about it because we had to do so many sprints because of Sarah's wrappers. I think 11 for all the wrappers she left. So shout out to Sarah. We laugh about that to this day. And it was honestly a blessing in disguise. So
The bus has been very, very clean ever since that incident. So we've seen that story must get passed down, because every year I check the bus and it's always clean now. So apparently maybe eventually it will die out and I'll be able to pull that one out again, but I'll wait for it.
For us, it's more of the milkshake story. That's the story that we usually get.
I forgot about that one. That was a good one.
That's also a really good one. And then
we'll move on before we can get to the milkshake story. All right, changing gears a little bit here, but what skills do you think you took away from your experience as a Bucknell women's soccer player that have helped you since you've graduated, whether in your personal life or in your work experiences?
I would say the two most evident for me would just be work ethic and passion. I think those two coupled together kind of helped guide my experience. And I would don't want to speak for anyone else, but I would presume most people's experience on our team at Bucknell, and it's definitely really helped me in the workforce as well. And I think it helps us kind of stand out sometimes compared to some other people that maybe haven't had the experiences that we've had. And one other thing I would point out is I think as we've all kind of mentioned, your team becomes your family. But within your family, there are people that have different types of personalities, that have certain strengths, certain weaknesses, from their personality to their actual skill set on the field. So I think learning how to work well with other people that aren't the same type of player or the same type of leader that you may be, and how to navigate and how to put all the pieces together to be successful, I think has helped me in the real world in terms of working with different types of people to achieve a common goal, but just in a different setting than on the field. I think what I learned as a soccer player from that perspective has been really, really helpful.
Yeah, I think going off of that, leadership is huge. Confidence in your abilities and work ethic, again, is super important. I work in digital marketing, so it's very meticulous on a daily basis and have to be very concise in what you do, making sure things are borderline perfect. So the confidence in the abilities has been pretty significant for me, working both hard and smart on what I do. And letting my confidence shine whenever I do have the chance, taking a leadership role on my team and kind of allowing those leadership abilities that I was able to gain as a member of the women's soccer team, and then working collaboratively, there we go, in a team environment is so important. So being part of a team is the best way to prepare for that once you get into the workforce. I think there are so many things that you can take away from being a soccer player, but the leadership and the work ethic and being able to work as part of a team are just those three important things.
Yeah, just picking back off of what J-Rat and Cora were saying, I think for me, the biggest thing I take was my ability to work on a team and being able to work with different personalities. going into the healthcare field, and I think that's something that's going to be really useful in my future, being able to work with doctors and nurses and pharmacists and all the different people on the healthcare team. That's definitely what I think I took the most from my experience at Bucknell. I also think playing a sport in college, you have to deal with pressure a lot and being able to work well under pressure, and I think that's something else that translates really nicely into the workforce and in the healthcare setting.
Yeah, I again would just reiterate what everyone said, especially working with a bunch of different personalities on a team is really important. And then also, I would say you grow most when you're uncomfortable. So putting yourself in situations, whether it be asking someone to go get a coffee that you don't know that would help your networking for your career, or anything else that would make you uncomfortable. I think that's really important to do in your career in order to become better, and that you're obviously put in that situation every day on the soccer field.
Awesome, thank you. We're gonna kind of continue on this path, but Claire has a question for you guys.
So this is more about your work and networking. So what advice do you guys have about networking and finding the right job after Bucknell?
I would say definitely Bucknell is a small school and a small alumni network, and I think people really have an allegiance to the university, and you should use that to your advantage. I think Bucknell's Career Development Center is really, really great, especially compared to a lot of other universities that I've seen. Specifically, I think they do a great job for networking for certain industries. I'm in the sports and entertainment world, and I think it was tough for me at school to find opportunities as plentiful as some of the other industries to get immersed into what kind of jobs exist. Obviously, our athletic department was great. I actually did an externship with Todd one summer and worked in the athletic department my senior year for a little bit. But I would just say anytime I've reached out to alumni that work in the sports world, they have been super responsive and willing to take the time to connect with me on the phone, or if they live in the area, meet up for a coffee or a drink. So I think just realizing that there's a special connection that Bucknellians have, and you shouldn't be afraid to reach out to them. I know when people reach out to me, I love hearing about everyone's different experiences, and I'm more than happy to help a fellow Bucknellian.
Yeah, I think not being afraid to reach out and utilize all of your resources is huge. And like Cora said, Bucknell does a really great job of putting together career fairs for students to explore all potential career opportunities. And I think there are plenty of alumni, myself included, who would love nothing more than to, speak with a current player, somebody who's coming up on graduation, learn a little bit more about what you're looking to do in your career, your aspirations, things like that. And the Women's Soccer Network is a very close-knit tool for building those contacts in whatever field of study you have. Even just getting a little bit more information on potential places to work. I know I've gotten a couple text messages from people not necessarily in my field of study, but who know that I was in New York, or I had a couple of friends who, had experience in their field, see if I can put them in contact. But just never be afraid to reach out. There's nothing better than, like I said, getting a text or a call or an email from a current team member that is looking to, connect and get a little bit more information. So just utilize all potential resources you can.
Yeah, just kind of going off of what J-Rat and Cora have said, I think one other thing you can do when you're still in school is utilize the Career Development Center. I know they're super helpful with getting in contact with different alumni, and I know they have some good programs. I did an externship with a Bucknell alumni in my sophomore year, which really got me interested in the healthcare industry. So I think it's definitely useful to utilize the Career Development Center when you're still at school. And then you can also, I know people find internships when between their junior and senior year through alumni as well.
Yeah, and I think Bucknell alumni are always willing to help, but Bucknell former athletes are another level in wanting to help you. I work currently with a former athlete at Bucknell, and whenever we get a resume come across, we both hop on the phone with them. We're in different divisions, but we're definitely always want to help them. So I think it's a great tool to have in your pocket. And I mean, I got my first job from a former athlete putting in my resume. So definitely always reach out, even if you don't know them at all, that you like, there will always be a topic that you'll be able to discuss with them.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. That I think some great advice in there, and definitely we'll have our rest of our team watch this to take away some stuff and encourage them to reach out to any of you guys. And to kind of continue on that, we're going to go around now and update us on your personal life. So where do you live? What do you do? Family, whatever friends that are living in the city with you, wherever you're at. Any personal life updates you want to share?
So I live in Boston. I've been here since I graduated. I work at Fenway Sports Management. So we're like the marketing agency of Fenway Sports Group. So I work right at Fenway Park. Been working from home for a while now. And I work in the events and experiences department. It's a lot of fun. If anyone's interested in working in sports, happy to chat whenever. Other than that, no real updates. Kendall mentioned our teammate Sarah is getting married in October, so that's exciting. But no real other updates for me.
So I am working at Havas Media in New York City in Lower Manhattan. I just hit my 1-year mark in May there. I'm on the social media side, so I'm a specialist in the pharmaceutical team. I did move to New York City in August of last year, but I'm actually moving back to Philadelphia this coming August. This might be news for a couple
That's so
people here.
sad.
I know Megan specifically. Megan and I lived a few blocks from each other, not too far at all in New York. So yeah, this is news. But very thankful that I got the chance to live in New York City. It was something I've always wanted to do, and I had this incredible opportunity to move in with a couple friends, and it was great. It's just not quite for me, and that's okay. I'm so thankful I did it. I would have regretted it if I didn't, but I am moving back to Philadelphia. I got, a work from home situation approved, and we might actually be working from home for a while now, so that might be going on, but I'm excited to be back in Philly, close to family, close to, where I grew up, and just looking forward to that opportunity. But other than that, nothing really new. I did adopt a cat in December, so I have a cat named Cosmo, but that is the other news. So pretty much same old, same old.
I moved down to Charleston, South Carolina in December, which I suggest everyone does. I love it here. I didn't know anyone here when I moved here, but I think it was a really good move. To start PA school, I'm in PA school at Charleston Southern University. I just finished, I'm about like halfway done with my didactic year, which is like the classroom work. So I finished the didactic year in December, and then I have clinicals for a year, and then I graduate. That's pretty much it. I have no idea what I want to specialize in when I'm done, but I'm thinking maybe orthopedics, just, growing up around sports. We haven't done an orthopedics unit yet, so I don't know if I like that yet, but I'm hoping I will. That's probably the update for me. Yeah, that's it. My twin sister's in New York City, and she was here a couple weeks ago visiting, which was nice, so that's probably it.
So I work in sales and trading at Jefferies in New York City. I have been quarantining though at my parents' house since March 13th. And yes, I'm counting the days at this point, but, nothing really new besides that. Not too sure when I'm going to be going back into the city. Working from home is actually pretty efficient for us, and it would be kind of crazy to go back. So you have to be scheduled to go on the elevator and wear masks all day. So we're staying put for now. But I guess, yeah, that's the only update. I'm really sad about JRAT now that I know that, but that's all right. I guess the most exciting thing thus far was my sister actually ended up getting married during quarantine. We did a little backyard reception for her and my new brother-in-law. So.
Very cool. Thank you guys for those updates. I'm going to turn over to Claire for her last question of you guys. And I'm really excited to hear the answer to this one.
Okay, so who was the teammate you admired the most throughout your career here and why?
And don't feel like you have to name somebody on the call, okay? Just you got to be honest here.
That's a tough one. I don't think I can name one person. I think for me, I definitely leaned on like a group of different people for different things. Definitely leaned on the three people on this call. Um, Definitely leaned on, I lived with Sarah Brissett for a while, so leaned on her for a lot of things. Sam Powers and I were injured together freshman year, so it was interesting going through that experience, having someone to kind of go through that with. Alexis Gannon, Kelsey Witt, Shannon, shout out, everyone in my grade. I feel like I definitely leaned on different people for different things, whether it be staying after practice to work on different things, keeping my fitness up, keeping me accountable. So I can't really pinpoint one person, but I would definitely say everyone in my class and definitely Kendall and Megan and Jackie as well.
Yeah, I think what Cora said, it's tough to pinpoint one person because each teammate impacts you in a different way. But I would actually say that Cora was the teammate I admired most. And I know she mentioned earlier that, an injury sidelined her early in freshman year. But seeing her come back so strong from that was really inspiring. And I think she represents the program so well. But again, like she mentioned, there's so many individuals and so many teammates that impact you. I know personally, everybody on this call and many other teammates were there to encourage me through fitness tests as I was struggling to cross the finish line. And, tears are ready to come down my face, and everybody is there, running alongside you, clapping, cheering for you in every situation. So while I would say, Cora was somebody I admired the most and, had a huge impact on me, every teammate that I had an impact in some special way.
I would just go off of what everyone else has said. Everyone that I played with had an impact on me, everyone in my class, and definitely your guys' class. But if I had to pick one person, I think I'd pick, honestly, Cora, because I think she was the most different for me as a player. I don't show much emotion at all on the field, and I think Cora was one person that she couldn't not show emotion, whether it was during practice, during a game, off the field. She was someone that was always very excited and is still today very excited about Bucknell, and we still make fun of her for that. So probably the passion and the desire that Cora brings was something that I always looked up to.
You never got her celebrations down, though, did you?
I can't say I did.
I hands down would pick Cora Climo. It's not even a debate for me. I mean, again, like what J-Rat said, everyone has had an impact on you, but I had the privilege of working with Cora as a captain, and I think she really was like instrumental to our team that year, especially being a voice on the field and off the field. Her positivity and passion is unmet by anyone I know. So I still call Cora to this day for her life advice and positivity because I always know that she'll give it to me. So yeah, Cora Climo for sure.
Guys, I want to cry.
Awesome. That was awesome to hear, guys. Brings back a lot of good memories, and great people were mentioned on that call for sure. And, we had, I think, a lot of people, and that's, in your time, why we had the success we did was because it is difficult to pick just one in some of those cases, because there were so many people that played a special role in on our team. So that one was a fun one. So here is the last question I'm going to ask you guys, and it's a two-part question. And I know you guys haven't been gone from the program very long, but think about maybe from where it was when you started as freshmen to where it is now when I ask this question. So what are your thoughts about the current state of the program and how it's grown in the years? And then what advice, this one I can't wait, what advice would you give me as the current head coach of the program? Holtz, I know you've got some for me. You had 4 years of advice. Right? So I know that I can I know that Holtz is going to give me some great advice here. So we'll save her for last because she might be a little long.
Well, I would say there was a lot of things that happened from the start of my freshman year to the end of my career. We went through like a whole new coaching staff transition our sophomore year. But I mean, I have nothing but amazing things to say about you, Kelly, and David, and Lee, who was there. And I was never coached by Riley, but have interacted with her. And I just have nothing but good things to say about this coaching staff. And I think you guys have done amazing things for our program on the fields, off the fields. I could probably go on and on. Two things specifically I could pinpoint is just what we're doing right now, your alumni relations, just getting us when we were on the team, writing cards to former players and, you know, kind of revamping the alumni weekend. I know all of us have gone numerous times. I think just like what you've done to keep the alumni connected to the program has been awesome, and something that I've definitely taken great notice of since I started. And the other thing I think is the strength of our schedule. I think you're always looking to the Patriot League is great opponents, but getting us out there playing other teams. And I think this kind of parallels to the advice thing. I would say anyone that knows Bucknell or has been to Bucknell has nothing but amazing things to say about the school, about the women's soccer program, about the athletics. But I do think I grew up outside of Chicago, and although I had heard of it before, there definitely is a group of people out there that maybe have not heard of it. So just getting the opportunity to play schools all across the country, and especially playing bigger name schools, I think the one piece of advice I would give is maybe just somehow working to encourage, even though we're definitely a great Division I school, we're a mid-major program, and sometimes I think confidence maybe needs to be put in some players when you're playing teams like Penn State or big time programs. Just having your team buy into believing that you can beat those guys. Like, I don't care if they're Penn State. I don't care if they're Rutgers. I don't care if they're UNC. Like, we all, Holtz alluded to earlier, J-Rat, everyone, we all played club soccer with players that have played at great programs, and we have the talent and the coaching staff and the resources to beat those teams and get our name out there. So I think just instilling that confidence in the players and continuing to get exposure to those top programs.
Yeah, I think Cora touched on a lot of really great points. I'm personally so proud to be a member of this team, mainly because of the growth that the program has seen since my freshman year. As Cora mentioned, there was a coaching change and a lot of things that happened from, coming in as freshmen to when we graduated as seniors. And the incredible, teammates and coaching staff came together to make my experience better than I could have ever imagined. So looking at the current state of the program, this is something that whenever anybody asks me about Bucknell or my experience on the soccer team, whether it's my playing experience or my teammates, my coaches, going back for alumni events, it's something that I truly enjoy talking about, and I love when it gets brought up. So, having that love for the program and the school just comes from having one of the best experiences you can have, and that's made possible by a great group of people. So going off of that, advice that I would have is to just never stop pushing the team to be the best that they can be. I know, and I don't want to get like super mushy or anything, but from the moment you guys came in as a coaching staff, I had a really great feeling that you were going to have a huge impact on our program, but I didn't realize how big of an impact you were going to have on my life, both on and off the field. And I think the drive to push me to my limits and the belief and the confidence that you and David and Lee had in me all turned me into an incredible player, a person that I can be proud of off the field. And I just am very thankful to have had you guys as a coaching staff. So just keep instilling that hardworking mentality into all of the players that come through the program, because I think that mindset is so key. And you've really turned this program around in the best way possible. So just continuing to push people to be the best that they can be both on and off the field is really important, and it has a bigger impact than is truly realized just in the depths of the program.
I think Cora and Jarrett have kind of said everything that I was going to say, but I think just one thing I want to add is I think one thing that I think has improved a lot is the alumni network. I know now that we're alumni, it's really cool to still get the updates every couple of months about the program and follow you guys on Instagram and Facebook and really kind of stay involved with that. And I think building an alumni network is really helpful for the players, like we talked about earlier, because there's such a strong alumni base with Bucknell athletes and alumni. So I think that's one thing that I think the program has definitely improved with. I'm still waiting for my first letter from a player, but hopefully I'll get that this year. I don't know who's number 14 now, but hopefully I'll get a letter from them. And then advice, I don't really have much advice, Kelly. I think I'm still waiting for the next set of twins that you recruit, because I don't think you've had one yet. And
we're trying, man. I'm trying.
Harder than
I always ask them, do you guys want to go to school together? And they're not as excited about it as you and Jackie sometimes were.
Interesting. I feel like a lot of twins like to stay together.
We have a set right now we're working on.
Do I need to say something to them? Do I have to reach out?
That might be a strategy. I don't know if that's legal, but we'll look into that.
Okay, I guess Kendall's done. I would reiterate.
Holt is going to be like, you should start playing a 4-3-3. Have you thought about moving Allie to
okay,
outside
I'm not there yet. Let me get there.
Okay.
In terms of like, I think Cora, Jarrett, and Kendall all mentioned this. We definitely had a huge transition period. I think we had 0 coaches at one point. So it was very refreshing having the 3 of you guys come in. And we were lucky enough to be able to interview all of you guys, which I think was crucial in deciding like our future as a program. I agree with what they said about the alumni network. I mean, I see it with my sister. She's a 2011 grad, and there's definitely not a following from back then. So I think it's been nice to see like the past couple grades really put an effort in and making the alumni network like what it's become the past couple years. And even having the event that we had last year was amazing. So stuff like that's been great. In terms of recommendations, I mean, you know how I feel about keeping possession out of the back, so I won't go over that again. But I think what Cora
I really have a quick story, Holtz.
All right, go ahead.
So we're going into the Patriot League finals, or like semifinal weekend at Navy, and Holt sits down with me and is like, "Hey, what do you think about playing out of the back this weekend?" And I was like, "Holtz, like, we're going to the Patriot League Championships this weekend. We're going to do whatever we've been doing all season long. We're not changing anything now." She's like, "Well, I think we really could break them down that way." And you challenged me for all 3 years, and I appreciate every single one of those challenges because you made me a better coach, which is why you were a fantastic player on the field and definitely saw the game so well. So continue on with your continue.
Okay, I'll keep going. Okay. No, thank you for those kind words. But no, seriously, I think that like speaks to Kelly though. She and the whole coaching staff, they're so receptive of our feedback, even as players. But what Cora was saying, I think the strength of the schedule really makes a difference, and it pushes each player to be better and want to be better. I think my junior year, we beat Syracuse, which was a huge upset. No one was expecting that. And it was the best feeling coming back on campus saying we beat Syracuse because no one think we could do it. And then look what happened that year. We ended up winning the Patriot League title. So I think that's super important. And I also think you're going to hate me for this, Claire, but honestly, fitness really makes a difference. We were definitely not the most fit team probably my freshman year. And I think when Kelly and David and Lee came in, they definitely pushed us in terms of fitness, and it made a huge difference on the field for us. So I think that's always something that's good to have, and it stinks at the time, but it really does make a impact later on.
We'll take anything we can get.
And in terms of schedule, hopefully this game is still a possibility, but could actually be our opening game if we do have a season this year. But we have Georgetown at home on Sunday, September 6th at 2 o'clock. Right now, obviously, depending on how all of the COVID guidelines work out and whatnot, and if we're able to play, we did have them coming back and playing on Emmett, which I know was going to be a good experience. We played them last year, and they were ranked, I think, 13th in the nation when we played them last year. So we always try to get a few of those opponents that are going to challenge us and will be what an opponent would be like if we win the Patriot League Championship and advance to that first round. We always like to see an opponent like that to prepare if we have the chance to advance. So just to, that's something that, we'll continue to look to do. But I agree. I think having that strength of schedule is so important to prepare us for Patriot League. And also, I think, like Cora said, get our name out there. A couple signature wins, and all of a sudden people start paying attention. And we have the talent and the players to do that for sure. But guys, I can't thank you guys enough. All of you guys have very, very special places in my heart. And, being a part of, my first few years as a head coach, I couldn't have asked for a more accepting and group that just had the passion and desire to win. Holt, you spoke about how you had the chance to interview us and how that was an important part for you guys of the process. On the flip side for me, that interview with the group of women that met with me that day was the most important part of my day on that Bucknell interview, because I could tell just by how prepared you were, how serious you were, the questions you asked.
I think Cora asked maybe 20 questions.
I knew this group wanted to win. I knew they wanted to be led and pushed, and that's exactly what I got when I arrived here. So I am so grateful and thankful that you guys were all a part of that group. And, I can't thank you guys enough for joining this Zoom. And I look forward to having our first alumni event post-pandemic. As I know it will be well attended, and I'm sure I will see a number, if not all of your faces at that alumni event, and we can have this Zoom conversation in person. And that would be, that's always the best part of my weekends, when you guys are all there and get to have a chance to catch up with you guys. So thank you again. Means the world to me, and I'll turn it over to Todd.
Thank you, Coach. And where do I start? What a great session. You guys, I had the privilege of obviously working here and watching you play on the field, but for anybody that tuned into this and watched you on this session, it was so easy to see why you were so successful, because you guys all have such passion and care for each other. And there's no question that you gelled on the field and off the field, and it was easy to see it today during this session. And Cora, if Coach had asked me, of all the externship candidates I had, who had the most passion, you would have got my vote too. But now that you're working for the Red Sox, I don't know. I'm being a Yankee fan. That's tough for me to swallow, but
Go Sox.
If I need Sox Yankees tickets, I know who to call now, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, Claire, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to be on the call, and I hope your training's going well. And obviously, I really hope we're back here soon on campus and you're competing. If not, we'll figure out what to do, and we'll work our way through that too. So best of luck to you. And ladies, again, thanks for being on the call tonight. And everybody that tuned in, thank you, and go Bison.